Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
That's right. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Victor Allen's new Sportz, written and directed by the bald-headed black man. His unique fan-based view of sports. Rub his head and make a wish. The ladies have nicknamed him Sexual Chocolate, and he reminds you just appropriately sports bras and jock straps for the new Sportz. And ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Here's the sports man. Here's Vic.
I got to put in a request that we have to cut those claps down at least 3 or 4 seconds short.
I got to edit the claps, man.
Edit the claps, man. A little bit too long, and I understand that it's very important, but it really seems like it's overkill, like as if we've done some comedy routine, and we're not comic routines here, man. Hey, look, first of all, I'm going to give you big ups, man. You popping off with that tie and shirt this morning. Special event, man? Is it because you went to the Lakers game and they won last night? What was up?
Yeah, that was part of it. It just to look good for the people on Monday. Plus, you're the one who said that the Lakers. You told me
I thought it was
going to be a blowout.
You know why? Easily.
You were wrong.
I was totally wrong because I believed in that whole philosophy of, hey, this is Memphis. This is the defense. They bring it. But I just forgot they came in to sit back and crush the Clippers. So they're on that back-to-back. And you know how they say. It's not an excuse. It's not a reason.
They did beat the Clippers.
They beat the Clippers, and they brought it. They did not play the same way with the Lakers.
Gone.
Right. Well, yeah, he's in Sacramento. But what they did with the Clippers is you could see the focus. When they got to the Lakers, I'm not saying they weren't in that mode. It's just that everybody knows when you better performing, the day of, the day after. And so I just took that to heart that they would step up and be the ultimate professionals. But I love the way the Lakers are playing. Unfortunately, man, we're not going to see that day in and day out. But you got to witness it. So they beat a top contending team that, got to give mad respect to Marc Gasol. Man, he's becoming what they call, I just call him automatic, man. So I want to give props to it. Celebrate. Lakers are clipping that 500 ball. So, hey, recognized game, but it's still early. All right. Hey, look, Mario, a lot of us are still getting over the tragedy. You know what the tragedy was, right? The Dodgers.
There's a lot of tragedies.
Tragedy, man, the Dodgers.
Oh, that went well.
We're saying we didn't have a show.
It was just so good to compete.
No. I loved the series. Still memorable to me. The only thing I really kind of compare it to is probably maybe the Angels and San Francisco Giants back when the Angels were taking their own world title and Barry Bonds was just lifting those home runs back to back to back, just going. Everybody was just waiting. But there's always this thing where we relate with life, man. And you've heard of the term, it's good to be the king. It's always good to be the king. But wonder if it's good to be the king and the queen. So just imagine, Mario.
Wait, that sounds a little sexually ambiguous.
Yeah, no. Good to be the king and the queen. And the reason why you can say that.
It's good to be both.
It's good to be both.
Not at the same time.
Yeah. And the reason why is because there's one thing when you win the championship. But you top that off and you win it with that lady, that woman, right? And let's just top it off. You win it with that lady or woman who's considered top 1%er, top 0.5%er. So just imagine that here you are. Mario's about to deliver his Silicon Valley world title. And on the stage on the side is your baby girl. And then you basically go, baby, I got to win this. I'm in their hometown. I got to make it happen. And you do. And she comes up all smiles. So now you got the hotness. You got the ring. You're the king. And what do you do with it? You go get hitched. So now you won the world title. You're a Cy Young Award winning pitcher. You beat LA in LA. And what do you decide to do? This is putting salt on it. Let's go down to the next graphic. This is just putting a little salt on it. You beat LA in LA and you say, well, baby, after get hitched, let's go home to our Beverly Hills mansion. So wait a minute. So I just want to let you know this is a teaser. This is that one where you go, it's good to be the king. It's good to be the queen. You got the title. You got the queen. You got the hotness queen. You go home in the city where you just defeated that team on their turf. Can you think of anything else, Mario, that could put a top on that? And don't say Disneyland. Don't say it, man.
A baby, pregnancy.
See, you know that's coming, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but
Wait a minute. What's left, right?
one wonders.
Okay, I'll say it even better than this. Baby, let's go home to our 5.5. Oh, let me clip that down. 5.25. Because after you win the championship and you go back to your $5.25 million mansion, price just went up, right? As soon as they sit back and say, oh, world title championship couple, the market value just went up on that house. Do you stay?
Just because of fans.
That's right. Do you stay or you turn it over? What would you do, Mark?
Well, you stay for a while.
How long is a while, man?
As long as you feel comfortable. It looks a little modest as houses go.
Yeah, well, this is Beverly Hills, right?
Yeah, so you could probably go,
Well, they never get
something more.
Well, remember now, it's one thing about these shots, and I could bring more shots, but the reason why I don't is because they just give you that view. And then you get behind the trees, and then you see more view. Then you go inside.
You're paying a premium because it's
Yes,
Beverly
it is.
Hills.
Yes, it
Not
is.
just like other states where for that same,
Oh, no.
you get more land, more acreage.
No. Oh, man, you should see. If you ever want to see something, just stay tuned for a segment I'm going to come up with Hot Picks, where it's just amazing where you roll is where you roll, but the turnover property is unbelievable. So, hey, just congratulations, because I said at this point, it's off season. The man got the woman got the king got the queen, got the ring, got hitched, and they're chilling in the backyard of the team you just defeated. That's just salt on the wound, man. So, just had to get that moment of recognition. Got to take you to what I call a little bit of history. And I always believe that history can come at times that you're just not necessarily planning for. So, yes, this is the New York Marathon, and you guys already heard about it, but I just have to give some perspective on how valuable it is, because Shalane Flanagan, of course, 36 years young, comes in and wins the first marathon title by a U.S. citizen, or for the USA, in 40 years. Where were you in 1977? So first, let me give props to her, because she took a break from the circuit. And when she took a break, she comes back on her first race, and it's as if she needed that time, and comes in. And I've watched her run over and over again. And to come off of a break and hit this at 36 years young. The part that she was so shocked, Mario, she just couldn't believe it was happening. So I have to celebrate and tell her, as a person who's at 36, how far would you run? What, 400 meters? 100 meters, man? How about 50? See, you're not.
Just amazing. I watched the reports on this, Vic, and I have to admit, just her general vibe and energy that she showed in that last part.
Wow.
That was touching,
Right.
I was having flashbacks to moments in my life where I thought I had accomplished something or whatever. But it was that kind of a thing. It was an inspiring experience to watch her celebrate.
Yes.
You could tell
she was in awe. She was shocked.
Yes. It was something to see.
Yeah, she was shocked. And hey, look, to roll it down to the next frame here, you get to see what she's always wanted to do, and this hold that flag. And here's the part where they were talking about. He said, should you now go off and say, done? Or is she one of those people that says, I just love to run? And I believe she will continue to run, because she's gotten better going towards 40, which to me is amazing in itself, what she's doing.
You never know where life is going to take you. You got to ride that horse.
Right. Well, you know what? I want to do some relative to the situation, so I can give people a perspective of how long the drought has been. 40 years, you guys. 1977. Let me give you an idea of some of the things that were happening back then. Hey, did you know the average renting was $240 when you went to go rent an apartment? $240. I got one even better than that, man. Average house price was $13,650. 1977. Think about the idea that you're literally going the average income per year, $15,000 a year. You shake your head already. You already know what that means.
Everything went more too, right?
Right.
So you were getting paid nothing.
Right.
There you go.
Wait a minute. A 5-inch portable TV costs $147. Now, let me say something that's relative to that time. TVs are getting cheaper now because of the advent of technology and what you can do through your devices and everything. But relative to how much people were paying for TVs, that was fairly cheap. They said Middletown, New York, a ranch, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, living room, family area, and a double garage, $33,000. This is 1977. I saw something with the BMW, man. I don't know if I got it in here. I was just blown away. BMW 320i, the brand new one, $7,990. This is all 40 years ago. A bikini for women, $9. Wouldn't you like to throw that back?
You had me thinking for a minute just what we used to spend.
Yeah.
What did we used to spend?
Right.
I remember we were going to Fat Burgers and complaining because the burger was like $5.
Yes. Yes.
You remember that? It
Yes.
shows you. So because I was thinking, what were we used to pay? $1.50 for a hamburger or something?
Right.
I guess because McDonald's back in the beginning was 35, wasn't it 15 cents or something?
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
So, what was the first McDonald's burger? It was something like. It was well under $1. I thought it was 35 cents or something.
Yes, we're cheap. Yeah, right around there. Even maybe cheaper at that time, man. I mean,
I don't remember, but it goes to show you what we were used to
think about it.
paying.
Gas, 65 cents a gallon.
And we were complaining when it was 65.
That's
'cause it had
right.
been 35.
That's right. So I'm just letting you know when to sit back and say, when a drought happens, this is what happens.
What can you say?
What can you say? Going to take you over to what I call a moment where I don't spend a lot of time, dude, talking about this. But when it pops up, I always think, is it just a moment or does it represent a small change? Now, Miami Dolphins coach Adam Gates had a stance that he really was telling people, stay in the tunnel. Don't come out here to kneel. If you're going to want to kneel, stay in the tunnel. Well, he relaxed his stance on kneeling. Now, of course, unfortunately, the Miami Dolphins lost to the Oakland Raiders. But to give you just the explanation of what happened here, Coach Adam Gates had established a team rule requiring players either to stand for the anthem or stay in the tunnel. But the players, Julius Thomas, Michael Thomas, and Kenny Stills, told Gates that waiting in the tunnel was interfering with their game preparation. Gates told them he preferred they stand during the anthem, but respected their right to express themselves and relax the team rule. For the Dolphins, the game was the first since owner Stephen Ross joined with his players to create a fund for social justice programs. Would you say that's a step or a half step in the right direction, Mario?
Yes.
Okay.
Even though.
All right. Quarter step.
Well, what happens is when you stop and think what you want to be the final outcome. All right. In other words, say you wanted it to stop. What would you do to enforce that? Just so that the NFL would have to do some program, a big promotional campaign where they put X amount of dollars into X, Y, Z.
Right.
And in return for that, they could also agree to take the anthems out.
Right.
Of the games, and then maybe they could come to an agreement. But you're going to have to. What happens with these kind of things? I start thinking ultimately, what's the end point, or is there an end point? But people should be questioning what is the end point, and what would equal that? Could it be possibly an end point?
Well, one thing we have to accept: racism will never go away. True.
I don't expect it in the next.
Some
kind of ism. It's
right.
within man.
Right.
Once you don't have racism, it'll be the people who live on that side of the river.
Right.
It'll be something.
It'll be
You'll make
something. You'll find an argument or position.
It won't be race, but it'll be something else.
It doesn't matter if you look alike. It'll be because you're taller or shorter, you live in a better house, it'll be whatever it is. What I'm saying is, did the owner get ahead of the game by saying, well, if I can't,
yes,
I'm going to establish a proactive way of saying, look, I'm still a business. I still want you guys not to affect the bottom line, but I also want to direct my energies towards something that even if we don't have the solution, it shows that I'm still for the right, where I see there is some concern about the treatment of minorities and African Americans. So this is what I'm going to do. I look at what he's doing now, whether that existed already or not. The idea that it's a proactive step and not just a hard stance, it's a little bit different than what the other owners were saying.
Well, and he's only a little proactive. He was confronted by players.
Yes, he was.
So it wasn't like he said, here's my own idea.
No, but he did not sit in the seat.
So he responded to a pressure with what we think was the proper way.
Right. And then what I'm saying, rather than to sit there and just be the hardcore, not say anything, not do anything, that's why I said, is it a half step, quarter step?
Well, like I said, it would have been different had it been his idea.
True, as always.
As when you get pushed.
Right.
In other words, because what he was confronting was, let's say the players say we're going to do this.
Right.
Now you're in a position where you have to discipline them or not. So you get forced, so it's easier to not discipline.
And it is.
So you would want to have a room to give in.
Right.
Because in terms of labor relations, blah, 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 which this actually comes down to in a lot of ways. So you're going to have rulings ultimately.
True.
Whether it's entertainment, you still have labor relations and employee-employer relationships that end up coming into.
And until an organization, as we all have been part of, or many of us have been part of, we've been part of many organizations that were very lax in their comfort of their culture until the buttons were pushed. And they used to get those in, the older ways with strikes and everything else. So when buttons are pushed, we just say, hey, how do you step it up? Okay, I just wanted to get that point in, but just to give recognition, even though they did lose the game, that's just a smaller story. I want to get it called Let's Wrap It Up, because a couple of categories I want to recognize from the host of games that were happening. And then I put on the webpage the standings in all divisions for those who just want to click through and just see the data. And I always believe, let's just look at the more important things at the time and see if they have meaning. And if any of the teams I'm about to point to, are they players or is it just early in the season, which we're really at the halfway point? I looked at 4 categories here. On the stats, I said undefeated at home, Philadelphia Eagles, Buffalo Bills. Undefeated on the road, Los Angeles Rams. That's still shocking to me. Best offense, Philadelphia Eagles, Los Angeles Rams. Best defense in the league, Jacksonville Jaguars, Pittsburgh Steelers, Minnesota Vikings. Those are the stats I look at rather than to break down and look at what they call even the point differential, because there's some teams I know right now that give up more points, but they're playing above 500. And I know some teams that are actually doing some staunch defense, but have lost more games than won. Any of these teams that you see, Mario, are players, and in the end will be players going into what we call even beyond the first round, second round. Look out for them, because they say defense wins championships. That's why I put the offense and I put the defense. And I'm kind of shocked by 1 or 2 teams who I'm finding as defensive players. Any teams here that you expect to make an impact going into the playoffs?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's obvious who's going to probably be the impact. I guess I was looking more what you were showing here, at least initially,
right,
as to who was doing so poorly.
It's bad.
San Francisco 0-9.
Yes.
Okay, Tampa Bay 2-6. Did we expect that?
And they just lost Jameis Winston to injury.
Did.
Yeah, welcome to the Hurt Hotel.
Oh no! And then the Giants 1-7.
Okay. Stop there. Did you watch the game? Did you see it?
No, I didn't see the game. I saw the final on 51
in New York. Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Okay. I always believe there's a game of changes. That happened a week ago where a team just got blitzed. I can't remember who got fired. I can't remember. This was historic, meaning that New York has not given up this many points like in 50 years.
No, this is horrible.
So, is it Eli Manning?
Oh, no, it's not Eli. It's me. I mean, he's not doing well, but he's not the main problem.
Right.
It's systemic with them. Just
Yeah.
like what's happening with Denver. They had Brock Osweiler as quarterback.
You know what? Mar, you know this. When a team is known for defense, but that offense just can't do it. Week to week, you have to exert more. It's just hard to sustain it. No, man, look. I'm just saying, man, how long can you write off? Look, think about it this way. Peyton Manning won his championship, what, year before last, on Denver off of the defense, correct? Denver comes back to try to follow up the following year. Couldn't sustain it. No offense. They didn't have offense with Peyton Manning. So that's 3 years running.
The GM.
So you can't sustain it, man.
Elway's the GM, so you have to ask yourself why.
Can't sustain it, man. That's 3 years that they have to wrap the defense around for the lack of offense.
Is the GM, dude.
Hey, man, they tried.
How about Cleveland? Do we finally signal the death knell?
Come on, man.
Because Cleveland,
Come on, man.
between Cleveland, they have two teams.
They're getting on Cleveland because New England gave up Garoppolo.
Cleveland and San Francisco both 0-9.
Yeah.
Two teams that
Yeah.
are 0-9.
But San Francisco, we kind of said they're in a transition, new management, new turnover, and the whole thing. Cleveland had an opportunity to get Garoppolo, who New England, of course, let go, couldn't sustain, and San Francisco picked him up, I believe. But what's pissed off about?
They did.
But this is the pissed off part. Cleveland was willing to give up more than San Francisco to get Garoppolo. They messed up on the paperwork and sent it 5 minutes too late. They didn't meet the deadline, so they're going nuts over.
So they're imbeciles on a bunch of levels.
That's right. That's right.
Stupid.
You're right. At this point, right now,
Stupid is as stupid does.
Do you
that means.
Do you boycott, or do you want to make up new T-shirts that could sell to make up for the differences in the merchandising that you're not going to be selling for the next decade?
I think you get that little emoji that's like a poop,
Yeah.
and that we put that with Cleveland Browns,
There you go. Smart, man. Smart.
and that becomes your logo on the T-shirt.
Okay. Any other? I mean, look. Give props to Philadelphia because they look like they're the real deal.
Yeah, Philadelphia
Real
looks
deal, man.
wonderful. I mean, there's the ones who are making a good enough presence, but you don't think that Carolina Panthers, but I don't believe they can go really farther. I mean, not really. And same thing with New Orleans, even though they're showing more.
Right.
Maybe it's the time for the Rams. You know, Green Bay I have no faith in, so maybe Minnesota.
Right.
But it looks like Philadelphia is the one. Dallas, there's a bunch of people battling for the second place.
Right.
And it looks like Philly is still the best team overall, with New England, to me, right behind them.
Hey, peeps, I'm trying to check you out.
I don't see Buffalo really
ignoring
doing
you.
it, and I don't see Pittsburgh really doing it, even though they have the records.
Okay. My question is, what happened to Atlanta? It just
folded.
something. They say it's so hard to get back there the following year, and you are who
Fried
you are.
food.
It's wrong, man. I'm
All
shocked.
that fried food.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with that, man. This is a young
In
team,
Atlanta,
and they can't even.
what are you eating?
I'm leaving that alone, man.
I'm just saying, what would you be eating if you were in Atlanta?
Okay, you know what?
I know what I'd be eating, but I don't think
Let me say
she's
this:
still dancing.
the impact of this. What I'm saying is this: I said best defense, Jacksonville. They going to the playoffs?
No.
Be careful now. Be careful.
Okay.
Be
Watch how I
careful.
say this.
Yeah, because
See, there's a by
They're tied.
definition,
They're tied in the
teams
division.
have to make the playoffs because now they can make it with lower records or lower performance.
Right.
But yeah, the playoffs are going to be there with the people in it. It just seems to me
right.
that there's a certain class at the top And then the rest are going to be scrambling, but they don't really have a chance.
I'm only saying, well, they
At the
make
championship. Yeah, they'll make.
They make it. The reason why I'm saying Justin Fournette, of course, he had to be benched.
Jacksonville's going to make it.
He had to be benched. I hope he gets right with it. Missed the game, but their defense is pretty stout. So I'm giving him that because when you have a good defense, you can surprise some people. The Vikings creeping up, but you said the Steelers. So here's the issue: the Steelers.
I don't believe.
You don't believe. You believe. I'll say this.
I don't believe in Roethlisberger anymore.
But they got an adequate defense. They're not really scaring people with their defense. So let me say what I think is happening here. The Buffalo Bills surprised me because they're undefeated at home, but that's not a big deal. The Rams, undefeated on the road, okay? That is virtually, very few teams can tout that. And they're not trying to say we're the best defense, but you're going to have to score. And they play in such a way that's just all these unique schemes. So I'm looking at the Rams and the Eagles as being the ones that everybody's talking about that will meet up in the Western Conference Finals. That will be the game that's more entertaining because they both score, got young quarterbacks, and they're not injury riddled. The key here is health. So I'm just saying, with that, is that the teams we want to see? Because Seattle got picked off by Washington, and I'm just trying to figure out what's happening.
That's what I'm saying. No, I hate that group in the middle, Vic. That'll make the playoffs, but they're not good.
Man,
they're not good. I'm sorry. No,
I think their time is. I think they're.
Not Pittsburgh.
Well,
Tennessee Titans. Not. I mean, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
They're in that group. Oakland ain't gonna make it, but let's just say Dallas is in that group.
Right.
It's in that group. They're good enough to make the playoffs. Even Carolina and the Saints, I include both of them.
Right.
They're good enough to make the playoffs, but I have no belief that they can go anywhere.
Well, I'm shocked at what Breeze is doing with New Orleans. I didn't think they were going to be delivering it.
I'm glad for them.
I'm glad for them too, but also because some teams are down more than up. Atlanta is down. Carolina
and some
down.
You don't know, like Cardinals. I don't know what they are.
Right.
What they are.
Hey, what can I say?
Week to week of the Arizona.
Right. All right. Hey, look, I want to take you out on this story because I do, and I feel that this is a bigger deal, even though it's early, but I do believe in chemistry. Look, injury-riddled Atlanta edges past Cavaliers yesterday. Dwayne Wade even said it. Starters have to play better. Starters. The starting team is what I believe is going to be the issue.
It is the issue.
And the issue is not that they don't play. The issue is that they're not necessarily role players. D. Rose, D. Wade, lack of Thomas, J.R. Smith, Kevin Love, K-Love, he ain't hitting those double doubles like he used to. Are they just pacing and then going to turn it on after the second half? Because when you get older, you got to pace because injuries will kick your ass. And LeBron James, he plays at one speed. He's delivering no matter what. And he already clipped that 50-point game already. But you don't want to wear him out. Minus injuries, are they just pacing?
No. And I think it's one thing to set a standard of excellence and then pace yourself mostly at that.
Right.
That's different, okay? So, no, they have had really, really a bunch of moments of mediocrity. And so, therefore, you should not, if you're pacing while you're being mediocre,
right?
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
And they're giving,
that's not good. So they don't look stronger from last year to me. That's the part I was saying. They don't look stronger.
Who are your defensive stoppers?
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't have them.
They don't look. They're not stronger.
Tristan Thompson was your defensive stopper, but he doesn't score as much.
Right. At least they still have him.
Right. K-Love is not delivering on the double-double. J.R. Smith is the outside shooter who hasn't clicked yet. D. Wade is now scoring off the bench, which is cool. LeBron James is making up for it. But they don't have those role players that's playing those roles like Richard Jefferson. They came in to actually disrupt. You got people here who's giving up points. They still give up 8 points more than they score. And when you give up more points than you score, there's a problem. That's a lack of. And I keep saying this. When D Rose gets the ball in his hand, do you see him going, I'm about to shut you down? No, he's trying to score.
The chemistry issues, I think, amongst pros like these, I think can be worked out. I think that this group, even though it's difficult inherently, I think this group will do better with time. I actually do. I think that they are professional enough to respond to the situation. I think they have to feel it out. So I'm willing to give them a break. I think they will play better together with time.
Yeah, I think when you already are looking at synergy, that's one thing. When you're looking at defense, that's just a lack of effort. It's always been that. And people just don't make their cheese on defense. They want to make their mark on offense. And so somebody has to step back and say, I'll be that defensive one. Don't look for D-Wade to do it, okay? Don't look for him. That's not his role. He's coming off the bench to carry the second wave. In the meantime, the starters, they have very little scoring. It's coming from one or two people, and then a little bit from their bench. So the starters have a synergetic problem, and they just don't have the role players. But, man, hey, that's it for me, man. I hope you catch the Monday Night Football, man. Man, I think it's Green Bay, man. Injuries, man. I'm done, man.
That's right. Victor Allen's New Sports, written and directed by Victor Allen and his unique fan-based view of the sports happenings. It is a recurring segment every Monday, part of the Morning Coffee with Mario show. Enjoy it. Right, Vic? Tell them how you think. Order your sports bras and your jock straps so you don't get confused. We'll see you there. All right, that's Victor Allen's New Sports.